Nagaland Festival of Orality kuigina Tetso College te aji November 2 war shuru kurigina November 4 tak jawlese. Itu event to literature performance aro technology ge bharawa dibole laga maksad para rakha laga ase. IB festival laga inaugural event upor detail ba sai sabo.
An event such as this needs to begin with a blessing. Our Ao Naga elders will be conducting the invocation chants with a spear. This act is called the Nalaksa. The Nalaksa invocation chants conducted by our Ao Naga elders using a spear signifies a profound tradition. The spear pointing towards the heaven and earth serves as a solemn oath before the god, reflecting the sacred significance of both the Dao and spear in Naga custom and the way decisions were made in the Ao village system of governance. Therefore, whatever decision is made today with a spear in hand shall be treated as an oath before God.
Iba nalasuya naganor awardum iba yamyayagi iba nalasunong chimbir iba chimbibaya temat ibalir kijiyo iba neya nu yagi anong tokader nalalagi alisongader da sonamda sonamnonge tumbaz misha uji jimbiz ibaji swaliba non chimbaro anoji tanne iba nalasuno iba pinjono utazaga balaba Somebody. Whoa! Alimatu sembalala nongai. Silbaler thang.
We invite Tiamarin and his talented group to grace the stage and enchant us with this magnificent cross-cultural musical tribute.
Miserable, la la la, makangande.
This was spoken by your father. There's such a feel like winning the train. Words of sweat, words of peace, like footsteps on the path. Oh, it lingers for eternity, as long as time speaking for mankind. Let it breathe.
Stepping forward to present tokens of felicitation to Dr. Jilvan. Puchuri, Ao, and Lotha, and Tenyede.
On behalf of the Tetso College community, I would like to warmly welcome you all to the Tetso College campus. We are so honored to be the venue for the Listener Festival and thank Ma'am Sentila for enabling us to host you this evening. In an era where cultural heritage is passing away from sight, we present to you the Northeast India Indigenous Peoples Archive, with its goal in preserving and documenting the diverse global cultures which you can access and explore at ease. NEPA is designed in a way that it provides an ultra-careful guide directing those individuals who wish to treasure their rich intangible heritage. Credited with notable representatives dedicated and thriving toward the preservation of the unique identities and cultural traditions of one and all. NEPA, an initiative of Tetso College.
The importance of intangible cultural heritage as a mainspring of cultural diversity and a guarantee of sustainable development cannot be ignored. Intangible cultural heritage is manifested inter alia in multiple domains, including oral tradition and expression, performing arts, social practice like rituals and festivals, knowledge and practices concerning nature and traditional crafts making. The state of Nagaland, along with its sister states of the Northeast India, are host and inheritors of unique traditions which provide the historical frame with which the people can connect, identify with, and around which the sense of peoplehood and the historicity of their cultural experiences are constructed and anchored.
I thank you very much for the invitation. Our UNESCO chair on language policies for multilingualism has now few years of work. As said, 31 universities in 17 countries, working in 11 different languages. That is much if we think that only 70 languages are used in the world for higher education. Less than 1% of the languages are used for higher education. So this hierarchical situation of languages is always in our focus of research. Community mobilization is necessary. And what our experience shows is that when one community begins, other communities want to begin as well. It's a kind of gamification of intangible cultural heritage. More and more communities desire to be recognized and mobilized and create channels of dialogue with the government and possibilities of financing the effort so that all languages can be included. Nagaland is a very multilingual state in a very multilingual region inside a very multilingual country. So a wonderful laboratory of possibilities for multilingualism. And I hope that ICH can help you, as it helped us, to develop new approaches for the languages, for making the repositories of languages sensitive to diverse demands related to culture and identity, and related to the discussion of heritage in general, related to other aspects of these policies in the countries.
I've got nothing much to say. It is, as I said, it's really a privilege to be part of this listeners group, because as our keynote address has mentioned about the insight, importance of what is the traditional heritage to the thing, languages and other important traditions and all that. I wish the conference a grand success and good learning time of our past, and also learn more about, especially Northeast people. It's a lot of people from Northeast society has come here. In fact, it's very exciting to know each other, what different society, what different sort of traditions each tribe has. In fact, I was excited to see, like, from Khasi, from all the other, the Arunachal Pradesh, from Manipur, etc. I think it will definitely be a very exciting kind of a program. So I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you so much.
Lata o lata ina malura. O lata, lata, lata o lata ina malura.
Ni akisuamenali
Muli nakchakawangwa.
anang kupu galir ajuai Tetso shi wasn't mayu anaulen nungi anadogani Yamdi sabong no atenshi
Itangchi sung lataper sung long imaneran lokter tayang lori akat asamer
Anyo bangzi kunametani Tetsu no sam Kuchi agi shitukete Milag yung bang Nungi salamashi medem London sayang matundashi
And I would say both today are struggling for having new positions, for conquering new possibilities in societies. That is amazing how the artistic path is bringing indigenous people all around the world, and I note specifically here and in Brazil, through music, through drama, through education connected to these dimensions, to a new position in the societies. Well, I was very curious on a specific musical instrument that is very similar to one in Brazil, but the position is the opposite. I mean, the position of the repercussion box of the instrument. I would like very much to research more about the possibility of musicians from Brazil and Nagaland to play together and have musical experiences together. Culture is always a dynamic dimension. So even if you want to keep a culture frozen, it's impossible, because these connections are connections with others, connections with time, connections with the economic dimension. So the main question is how to develop the identity in a way that you can transform this culture in possibilities, in resources for the future, in capacity of reproducing to the next generation what you have learned, what the people have learned. And of course, bringing better quality of life, better capacity of control on the resources that you have in your territory, of connecting this knowledge with other knowledges that are disponible around the world. I'm very curious about how, for example, people from one ethnicity, Naga ethnicity, reacts to the others, how these interactions happen, how this common sense of diversity, interculturality will help happen. And I will be very glad to talk to some people and ask them directly how they feel and how they appreciate all this diversity and that they are one of the elements.
Well, for one thing, I think it's the first and only literature festival of oral literature in the world. So it's a pretty, if I may say so, a pioneering, groundbreaking idea of a literature festival that is tailored to and responsive to the appropriateness, what is appropriate as a literature festival for the Northeast. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. Everyone borrows from everyone. It is really the intent and the artistic value of what you produce after what we call the appropriation that is really the defining character of the steal. But the first step towards preservation is knowledge. Unless we know what we have, unless we know what is of value, how can you preserve? How do you preserve what? How do you decide what to preserve? What is better, this or that? So we have to have a self-knowledge. When we think of a literature festival, we think of inviting people and we show off our product. Great writer, a good book, right? Nice interviews, right? But this time, this is the second edition after the Manipur Festival. It's going to be a rolling festival every year in a different state of Northeast India, right? I began to realize that what it does is it actually holds up a mirror to us. Who are you? What makes you you, right? And I think the most important part of this festival is that it makes us see ourselves. It challenges us to define what is important to us. Once we know what is important to us, then we will know what to preserve. That is the main thing. Otherwise, the act of preservation itself is not difficult. Any kid can take an iPhone and interview his grandfather. Now that is digital technology, right? It's not that difficult. It makes you think. What is our oral literature? What is our literary heritage? Once you have to program this, then you begin to think this. And then we say Northeast India. So, okay, she's from Sikkim. He's from Assam. So, how do I program this festival? What are the linkages? What makes it a region? What makes it a family of languages, connectivities, the connections, the roots, right? And I think that is what this festival, because of its particularities, its specificities to this region, and its appropriateness, and its appropriations from each other, makes this a rewarding experience to organize.
Okay, the listener is a very long process. It took place about, the conversation started about 7 years ago between, Somi, Roy and myself. Somi, as you know, is the Imasi Foundation, and I'm the state convener of Intact Nagaland chapter. Intact stands for the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage. And so when this conversation came to the point that we are now today, this is like the second festival in the making. We plan to make it a roving festival, take it around the Northeast states. Yes, every year. A festival. So it is a free festival, as the name goes. And of course, there's not so much, we want to make it like a very fun thing. Like culture is fun, it's interesting, and it's like a journey back, into many aspects of our heritage which we seem to have left behind us. And now we want to recover it, perhaps, and through this festival, create the awareness and interest, especially particularly among the young, that, there's so much more that you can get out of your heritage. Yeah, and then to be a citizen in this monoculturalism. Okay, so a very interesting part of this festival is that we have the Ministry of Culture dovetailing with us, and they have a series of 2 days of capacity building workshop where they have invited the culture departments of all the Northeast states. And this is in a national level capacity building, especially around focusing on the 2003 UNESCO Convention on Safeguarding Intangible Cultural Heritage. And so the way, the world body is also looking at culture is something which is definitely going to affect all of us at some point, because it is now going to become very center stage, I feel. And so that somehow or the other, at one point, we will look back to our past and try and recover. But the thing here is, it shouldn't be later than now, because many of the knowledge keepers, memory keepers, are passing on.